Time to get back to the rugby, and Anna Caplice on the line to talk about the last Six Nations game. Anna, good morning to you.
Morning, lads. How are you?
How are you keeping?
Grand. I'm chatting to you from sunny London.
Nice. Sunny?
No, that was a lie. It is absolutely Baltic and it is pouring rain. So, yeah.
Good.
I don't know, is it any better at home?
Good. No, it's not much better. That's the make us all feel better about ourselves. Come here. Context obviously is everything in the final thoughts about last weekend, and obviously looking ahead to the weekend coming. And the context around this Irish team obviously is that due to years has been well spoken about and identified of bad planning, that in some regards we were destined to lose those opening four games. Not destined to lose them, but it was written in the stars to a degree. And holding England to under 50 points is a result in some regards due to the context. And they also ran in some of those late tries to almost put a gloss on that scoreline. Are you as upbeat about it?
I was at the time. I was when I was there because, you know, when the match started and like England ran straight in after 2 minutes for their first try, my heart was pounding. I was like, oh my goodness, is this going to be, you know, what when people were fearing the worst, you know, 100 points plus score, you know, was predicted. I was very nervous after that first try, but actually, yeah, like they Ireland like spoiled England's party a little bit because you know, if that was the prediction from outside, England certainly would have had their eye on that ball as well. Like, could we score 100 points or whatever? But you know, at the time I felt really proud of the girls. I thought they just dug in and just never gave up, which is what we wanted for them. Like, that's what I wanted for them, and that's what they wanted for themselves. Just not give up, not let up. Like, there was huge periods of play where England just could not get through. And for the best team in the world, you know, Ireland will really have been proud of themselves for those periods of play and what they were able to achieve. And, you know, stopping England's like tirade of attack, which other teams haven't been able to do. So yes, you know, I felt really positive about it after. Not over the moon, but I was like, do you know what? You should be really proud of yourselves, like for so many areas of that game. But then when you kind of take a step back, and it was only when it really kind of hit me, I just looked at like the overall results in the weekend. You know, there was England, Ireland, and then France and Wales, and Italy and Scotland, which were just much more competitive games. You know, Ireland have no score at all, and all the other teams are scoring and have real chances of beating their opposition. And it's just, you know, again, another like reminder of where we're at. And you know, you can be like, God, you know, fair play. It's almost patronizing or condescending or just a real like, oh, how did it get to this? That we can be like, Jesus, fair play after a 48-0 loss. You know, it's just where we've got to.
Yeah, it's hard to square that in the head. That's totally accepted. I wonder, just in the context of, like, obviously this weekend, if we end up not winning with a bonus point, we'll get the wooden spoon, drops us down to the third tier. Otherwise, if we do get the bonus point win, we may end up in a shootout with Spain to remain in that second tier. But, and we'll get to that in a second, but it felt like the defensive effort, and I know it's more, there's more to it than just that, but like that defensive effort needs to be, given how we have struggled to put points on the board or put ourselves in the opportunity even to put points on the board, 2 tries and 1 penalty. That's our sum total of our scoring across 4 games so far. But that defensive effort, how important does that feel in terms of a line in the sand for this Irish group and in terms of forming a personality for the team? Is that the line in the sand? Is that where we say from here on out, this is the personality of this team and this is how we're going to approach every game?
Yeah, I suppose, because you never want to regress, of course. And, you know, if you can tell yourself that, look what we were able to do against England, imagine what we can do against other teams if we're able to, you know, not just draw the line in the sand and keep the bar there, but actually lift the bar again. So, you know, there were still missed tackles. It seems, you know, a big theme of our defensive effort so far has just been missed tackles. And then, you know, the scramble has been good and the connections and the movement in defence has improved like throughout the tournament, which isn't a surprise when you've so many young players who are learning on the job. that they will get better every week, and you link better every week. And, that we've got an unchanged side, relatively across the board, unchanged side going into this weekend, which is kind of the first time that's happened, this tournament. So that can only be, produce stronger results in terms of defence, as long as they keep the bar there, which I don't, at this stage, last game, you're going to give it everything. I don't think that will drop off. I think they know 80 minutes or however many minutes I'm on the pitch, I know my role, and a lot of those lessons will have come from England and building into that game. So yeah, absolutely. If Scotland want to win, they need to score, and if there's a really determined defence in front of you, you've got to be creative in how you're going to attack that. So I think they'll hang on to that, their defensive efforts, really strongly.
Some of those tries, Anna, that Ireland are conceding seem to stem from lack of communication between players, and on one hand that's really concerning and worrying, but on the other hand, I guess it's such an easy thing to fix. You'd imagine on paper that Ireland can maybe point to that and see it as something that they can remedy going forward.
I think it looked a bit. They looked to fill the field a little bit more against England, standing a little bit wider. I found kind of earlier on in the earlier games they were very bunched and very narrow, and it seemed then that because they're so close to the defender next to them, there was kind of ambiguity around whose responsibility the tackle was. So I actually think that with a bit more width, even though you might argue that's a harder job, the communication then is easier, because there's no doubt in your mind that that's your tackle. So yeah, that's a confidence thing. If you're nervous, you'll stand closer to the defender next to you. But if you're a bit more confident and your confidence has grown throughout the tournament, you're able to kind of go one step further, one step wider, and take responsibility for a bit more space. So that, that confidence as well, grows. And your confidence comes as well from your communication. And if you're new and you're only getting to know girls and you're only getting to know a defensive system, that's really hard to communicate. You can't just bang, this is our defensive system, and we know exactly how to communicate that now. No, that comes from learning, and you learn that through playing. And it would, be nice to have more games that don't affect world ranking or don't affect, things to be played, so we can practice these things. But it just so happened that, again, we're kind of learning on the job, and the communication comes from confidence, and then your confidence grows through the communication. So it's all one big circle that does seem to they seem to be taking a bit more responsibility now for a bit more space, and that's good. I hope that they can kind of not, I know we said it already, but not drop the bar low again, but just keep it there and keep that confidence.
And I mean, maybe some of the same things apply to the attack, Anna, but the one penalty particularly stands out for me. You want to be in an area of the pitch over the previous 4 games where you can try and force a penalty, or you force a bit of pressure on the team, and it's obviously not a great sign, particularly where we're trying to get a bonus point win this weekend. If you're in the Ireland coaching staff this weekend, I mean, I don't know what the discussions are. It doesn't feel like they're a group that necessarily talk an awful lot about the outcome as opposed to the process. But what are your thoughts in terms of our ability to carry off that bonus point win, or what is our opportunity here with the group that we have on the pitch to try and score more?
That's hard, because there's and we spoke about this before as well. If you're trying to achieve too many things in your one week to build up to a game, do you end up kind of not improving anything? Particularly, I think Dan O'Brien's way of kicking in behind and winning some territory is going to be very useful, and I think they kind of have to use that, and she'll be stepping up to the mark to win them some territory. In terms of decision making around when to kick is obviously still a learning curve as well. But if you're playing down there and you're confident in your defence, and you just want to stay in Scotland's half, they'll be looking for territory and kicking back to them and putting them under pressure, especially with, like Aoife Doyle is so quick and Lauren Delaney has been so good, like under the high balls. Like what I'm thinking about now is like when you win a penalty, like are you going to go for touch? Like I'm hoping that they can. That's what I would usually think, but I just think that there's been so many hiccups in the line out. Are they going to back their line out for driving maul, winning territory, winning ball, like even closer to the line if you're going to kick to touch? That's what I'd like to see, but the line out's been a little bit shaky. Well, I was listening to John McKee talk about their line out. He's saying that they've things that maybe Scotland won't have seen, so I wonder, are they changing their lineouts, or have they a new setup or something? I don't know what he's really referring to there. So maybe that's what they're thinking as well. That they've just got to use their lineout.
You wouldn't like to see them be too ambitious in that regard, given how much it's faltered. I would hope any changes are get it in quick and short, and let's see what we can do with that. Yeah,
but I think that would have been the plan anyway. I don't know. I don't know, because I think that the movement is good, and they're using different options, because all the teams are just defending Nicola Friday now, so you just get in front of her and it's good pressure. But like they seem to use Sam a little bit last week more, and so that's another option now that Scotland will have to look at in terms of their homework. Like, okay, we've got 2 jumpers to defend here. Is there someone else that they can throw up, as a decoy that they haven't done already? But I agree, you don't want to be too reliant on that. So maybe some 5-meter scrum penalty or 5-meter penalty moves, like that would be nice to see. Just like give them the ball and like bang. Especially when you've got like Derv running so well and so many strong runners in there. Like just a little bit more like heads up and play, maybe, is tap and go quick, like is the space on, like, and just making sure that if someone like Derv, runs off on a rampage, that you're the closest player to her, you're absolutely breaking your neck to try and get on her, and that she's not going to get isolated. So that would be nice to see, just front foot all the time, because that's what Scotland are going to do. They'll go quick, they'll look for quick scrum, quick penalty moves as well. So it's kind of, I'm actually I'm not really sure. I don't know what to expect.
I know. We need something to work off. That's the thing. Yeah. And look, we'll see. The bonus point feels like it might be slightly beyond us. A win would feel like a phenomenal, and albeit with the consequences that comes with it, would feel like a phenomenal outcome. Let me just ask you before we go: England, France tomorrow, 1 o'clock, shootout for the title. Which way is it going?
I think England are going to do it. I haven't seen England. I thought England were poor last week, and I've never seen England, or at least not this group of players, back up a poor performance with another poor performance. Saying that, I think France will be excited about the prospect, because they have certainly improved. England kind of came in at they knew where they were at. They've been they haven't been building and progressing that much because their level is so high. But I think France came in they've had a few shaky performances, but then they've kind of grown in confidence. So that confidence will be very strong for them. Kind of in a way, like head says England, heart says France, just for a big fight. I just would love an unbelievable performance from both teams for the 55,000 people that are coming. So, well, I'll go England. just cause I think they deserve it after losing the World Cup final. They think they deserve a bit of silverware.
We'll hold you to that. Anna, thanks a million. Enjoy the games.
Thanks, lads.
Thanks, Anna Caplice on the line there.